Welcome back to the shop, everybody. I'm Chad, and this week, basically prepping for winter, but as you saw in the intro, it's mostly just me pulling stuff around. So, yeah, it's a good week getting some stuff shuffled in the shop to get the appropriate projects into the heated room, and then the rest of the stuff into cold storage for the winter, as well as some outside upgrades to keep the heat in and the cold out. So let's get into it. So kicking things off, we are in the clean room and we're clearing off the 4x10 Fab Table to get it out of this room for a minute. Quick update on this one. So I'm grinding a couple spots on the Caster Concepts casters, the big old gold boys under there. Finally adding the connector tube and then the round bar just to lock two of them shopping cart style. So getting the Miller MIG fired up. And I've got a couple pieces of DOM tubing from the remnants pile that I'm going to stitch onto both pieces. This helped a huge amount, being able to pull it. It definitely pulls better than it pushes. When it pulls, the caster angle helps it kind of self-align, so you're just keeping it guided. When you're pushing, I think it wants to either like toe in or toe out, let's say, and kind of binds up a little bit. So better, not perfect. I might come back to this and figure out if there's a better way to really dial the alignment in, or maybe it's not really necessary. I'm not sure. These welded up nice though. See a little piece of tubing sitting on the table there, so I'm going to jump around the other side, weld the other half on. Cranking up the leveling feet a little bit just to get a little more clearance to the floor. And this guy's ready to get out of here. So a lot of shuffling around just to get stuff moved today, and that was kind of the theme. Here you can see pulling it from the opposite end of the locked casters rolls nice. Very good improvement. And I couldn't resist a little high-speed broom action, getting the shop cleaned up. So for the moment, I'm just rolling the table over on the far side of the lift. Oops. I'm going to set the Buick up on it for now. Eventually going to fixture the Buick frame back down onto the table a little bit better, but for now it's on wood blocks. I'll drop a picture in here in a minute of the final shop configuration, how everything ended up, but for the moment we're just going to stash it over between the Bonneville and the Chrysler. I had one foot dragging on me just a little bit, and I'm not exactly sure why. But we get it over there, moved out of the way. I love that almost everything's on wheels, so a little bit of time to shuffle. So I know the title said moving the Bonneville, but we're going to start by getting the Trans Am up in the air just to give us, basically just to keep it safe and out of harm's way. So now that we've got that finished, I'm getting 3 skates put together. So the current state of the Bonneville: no motor, no trans, no rear axle or front suspension. So complete body and frame. So I'm going to drop it down on 3 skates, 1 in the front middle under the engine cradle, and then 2 at the rear, basically where the rear axle would be, touching off on the frame rails. And this worked fine. Very flat floor, very stable. So no concerns there. You see all the wood cribbing that I've got blocked up. We're bringing the lift down, touching off, make sure that everything looks good, feels good, and then we'll bring the lift all the way down. And pull. Such a good looking car, such a big car. You forget how big this thing is until you compare it to a different size car, or you put it in my clean room where it's a snug fit. Oh. I love having this big door to connect the rooms just for this exact purpose. If you had to go outside and back in, this would be way more difficult. You can see my shop TV, got some entertainment stuff going on while we're working. Temporarily move the welders out of the way and swing the big girl in here. Crack the door open just for a minute, just to be able to pull it back and gain a little bit of room in the front. So while the car's in this room, the mill table, the cast iron table that we picked up just a few weeks ago now, that's going to live in the other side just short term. It gives us a little room at the front. Right now I do have enough room to access the front of the car for all the work that's going to go on, as well as be able to put the motor and trans back in through the front. So where it's settled, I've got plenty of room to go all the way around it. I'm going to get it up off the skates and onto blocks in the next couple days after this video is out. Definitely a snug fit, but we will make do. It's going to be nice to have it in the heated shop, and yeah, it's going to be nice. Yeah, so where the toolbox is, the black toolbox in front, that can easily be moved to get a little bit more room, but for the moment, that's going to be a nice convenient spot to have access to all the tools while we're working. And I did can it in here at a bit of an angle. Again, that's going to help just make sure we have plenty of room to work on it. So now it's time to get Bill's Jeep inside, and it is going to go in the lift bay that was being occupied by the Bonneville. So as soon as the Bonneville's done, it's going to go from the number 2 spot in the queue to the number 1 spot, and I'm getting pretty excited to tear into this thing. It's going to be a fun project. So for today, doing the easy stuff. I do have the winch that I mounted. I think I shared that in a video, but this is a worm gear manual winch that I mounted under the workbench. It is rather slow, but this is the first time I've actually used it, and it worked fine. I think I'm going to add an extension where you could stand up and run it, or maybe add a motor, but for limited use, cranking on it's not going to hurt me. So yeah, getting a little impatient just pulling on the chain at some point, but here's a better angle to show. It's really just getting it to hop up the transition from the gravel to the concrete. Hopefully someday I'll have a better approach where this won't be nearly as difficult, but for now this worked fine, and I'm glad I had it installed. So once we get the front tires cranked up and onto the pad, then we can obviously pull it inside towards the Trans Am in this case. You'll see the winch line go slack in just a moment. There we go. Yeah, here's a shot of that drum winch, and unloaded, you can run it with a drill and spool the cable back in. So we're pulling out the pump up skates. These are super handy to have, and I'm grateful to be holding them hostage. Thanks, Rob. So we get the Jeep pumped up, and we're going to spin it at 180 and then tuck it, like I say, into lift bay number 2. And this went drama free, aside from me being out of shape and winded. So again, still back day. Pull, 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 pull. Taking care not to run into anything. I wonder why the VFD on the bandsaw has to flash numbers all the time. It's a little strange. So new camera angle, getting it spun around. So the width, didn't realize this, you can't actually push a vehicle through between the lift arms with the wheels and the jacks. But again, that's not a big deal. I'm just getting it basically lined up in the lift bay, and then from that point, easy enough to roll it straight in, and this will be its home for a little while. And there we go. So here's the final, just a quick shot of the layout. You see the Buick up on the Fab Table, and we've got quite a bit of room now, which is nice. We've got some of the Bonneville parts on the carts to the right, but yeah, pretty good. This is an upgrade I've been wanting to make for a while now. So from Direct Action Industries, they have a triple seal. They call it their polar seal, and here's a shot of it within the extrusion. Super nice material, and I think it used to be North Shore garage door. I've ordered stuff from them in the past. I've actually got brush seals on the inside of both doors, but I wanted to add a new weather stripping door number 2 into the dirty room. It had some daylight leaking through, which tells me that air is leaking through, and the heated room, the clean room door, wasn't nearly as bad for whatever reason, but anything I could do to limit air infiltration is a good thing. So pretty nice day to be outside putting up garage door seals, and these went in pretty much stress-free. So pulled the old ones off. I thought I recorded it, and I must have forgot to hit record. But you can just imagine that it's not super exciting to watch. So these are aluminum extrusions. They're about 49 inches long, so we're just going through and doing one piece at a time. I pre-cut the seal to, the approximate length plus a few inches of extra. And then I, did a final trim in just a moment when we get the third piece in. So it's definitely a snug fit on the extrusion. It'd be nice if this was, more of a snap fit or what have you. The good news is I've now bought all the aluminum, so in a few years, if I need to replace the seals, that's just a matter of ordering the rubber and pulling it down and then slipping in a new piece. So really happy with this with this product, and I think this is going to be a good upgrade. The brush seals are still on the inside, so I think this is going to work well. I did finally break out my little mobile stairs as opposed to a step stool. I don't know why I was struggling for so long, but this was an auction find that I'm really glad I have. So if you have the room for one of these and you have shelving that you access frequently, I highly recommend you pick one of these up. But we're getting that last piece up in place. So again, slipping the extrusion in, and then like I mentioned, I'm going to do a final trim on the rubber, trying to get it to the end without any stretch into it. That way, you know, when it gets cold, it doesn't shrink on me. So that's using your head. All right, one half done, minus some kind of finishing element in the corner, but this definitely, there's no way it's not going to seal better than what was there before. This one-piece vinyl stuff is pretty sad. Not much sealing going on here. So these will come off. Clean this up a lot, and also keep the heat in on this side at least. We got these quick little corner blocks. It should, let's see if I can show this real quick. So it should nest in pretty nicely. Kind of as planned here. So let's see what they look like up in the corner. It's not perfect, but it definitely closes up some of the gaps. And I think I can tweak the model just a little bit, but for the most part, we're in the range of silicone it up and call it good. Maybe paint the screws, but we'll see how fancy we get. One thing I finally noticed, I don't know why it took me, literally 10 years to notice, is that the man door is a different color than the garage doors. And it occurred to me that I could color match it. So I pulled all the gray color samples from Menards I could find, and it tickles me so much that the color that it matches is called wrenched gray. That's just awesome. So I didn't quite nail the color match as close as I thought I did, but definitely looks better. I don't know, maybe I can try a slightly different hue, but I really think a lot of it's the texture on the metal as opposed to smooth on the door. So that's whatever, it looks fine. I was completely winded when I was talking through this next part, so I'm gonna fix it in voiceover, but basically just touching on the fact that I got the seals and the corner pieces replaced, and this is looking really good. So guys, thanks for joining me this week. I was able to get a lot done, but obviously the majority of my work was shuffling stuff around the shop. So next week we're gonna get back into it, gonna get some good work done on the Bonneville. I got a lot of parts ready to go back on the car, which is really exciting, and then get the motor and trans buttoned up and back together. So lots of fun stuff in the works, lots of fun stuff on the way, but hopefully now we're ready for the cold weather and we're gonna stay cozy in the heated shop. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. I'm out.